Hi guys, welcome to another SNLTV Wrestling Roundtable podcast. We are here as always. This week we're going to be doing our hot off the presses, as it only happened yesterday and obviously the day before. Our WrestleMania reactions, super quick, super early. Usually we wait like a week and a half, and everyone's like, "Bloody hell, what Raw and SmackDown before this has even come out?" You listen, you doing? Reviewing something from old school times. But not today, not this. Bank holidays and that. Know what I mean? Everyone's off, so we're like, well, let's do this. Let's get it going. I'm gonna throw it around the table and then we will get into it. I will say, um, we haven't talked about anything before. So I said when we got on this call, I was like, "Hey, so what did you think of it?" And both Adam and Callum were like, "I'm telling you." So I don't know what's going to happen on this one, but it's going to be interesting. Callum, are you okay?
Yes, I'm doing good. I hope all of our listeners and both yourselves and your family, Adam and Ty, had a happy Easter and ate as much chocolate as you want. I've still got my Easter egg left. No doubt I will still have my Easter egg left by this time next year as well. Looking forward to talking about Mania. A bit hit or miss for me, but we'll get into it, I'm sure.
Okay. Adam, you all right?
Yeah, a bit tired. I've not stayed up for Mania, but it feels like I have. I feel like the catching up with sleep has just hit me over this weekend, and I've just tried to do a bit too much. So I'm powering through. But
You
yeah,
have done, you have seemed to have done a lot. Like
yeah,
you need
yeah.
it
I don't know
everywhere,
why.
yeah.
Well, like I went to watch Mary Poppins yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it was
Saturday
Saturday.
night.
Yeah, Callum knows. With Ruby and Amy, and like Sam texted me and said, Christ, you never see your kids. And I was like, hang on, I've not got to watch Mary Poppins on my own. Like, this definitely isn't a show that I would have picked to go and watch on my own. So that was a weird one.
You've got kids, you know.
I was
Um,
like, come on, man.
yeah,
I've gone to watch it with them.
I
Just sat there in the middle, like standing on your feet
There's
when
just me.
Mary Poppins slides down
all
the
these
handrail
kids.
singing Spoonful of Sugar. You got
Oh,
this
Yeah.
man in his early 30s giving a standing ovation.
Oh, you were kind saying early 30s.
mid
Royal
30s.
in my mids now.
I'm in my
Hedging
late.
my bets.
I'm in my late 30s. I'm like,
You are in your late
I'm
30s.
getting chased down by 40, like you wouldn't believe. You know what I mean? It's not good. It's not good. I stayed up to watch it. I regret it intensely, not because um I didn't enjoy it, but more because Saturday night was sound. I was like, so good, job done, woo, loving life. And then Sunday hit, and I realized that I had to be like a dad of two on Easter, so I had to be up and that because the Easter bunny came and yeah, give loads of chocolate and presents and stuff. And then when I was like starting to flag a little bit, so I was like, oh, I'm tired now, bloody hell. After like 3 hours sleep, I realized that I'm also a husband who has to help cook a roast dinner. So, because people were coming round. So, yeah, the wrestling fan, but it didn't win out. And then, stupidly, I was like, yeah, I'll stay up again, won't I? Because it's night two. Obviously, it's more important, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm pretty tired. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I've got on I like phoned into the call that we do, and seeing like it was like this is what we're showing. Are you okay to share your camera? And I was like,
No.
I need to go and do something with my face because I look like I've been dug up. Like I was just like, ah. So, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you. It was it was a good time. Like I just love WrestleMania. I just love everything about it. Except one thing really annoyed me, but it took till the end to annoy me, so it was all right. Uh,
Okay.
but one thing I was just like, no, too far, too far. Anyway, as we always do, um, and as it's WrestleMania, it will be nice. You can add more words than your three-word review if you would like. So can I have a between 3 and 7 word review of WrestleMania 41 as a whole, Adam?
Thank God for the triple threats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 4. Callum.
Punk, Steph, Roman, Rhea, Io, Bianca, phenomenal.
Okay. Punk, Seth. What did you say?
Punk, Seth, Roman, Io, Rhea, Bianca, phenomenal. Seven words. Sorry, Haven.
Okay. There you go. I am going to say, I'm going to keep it 3 words because that's all I need to say. Um, that Don Pop. Ooh. Ooh. Oh yeah. Um, so what did you actually think? What like overall? Um,
I think night two was better than night one,
right, okay.
Mm,
but I think, like I said, the triple threat saved both nights,
mm,
and everything else was sort of like middle of the ground. Like there was nothing top
So
and
which
bottom.
triple threat on night two are you going with the women's triple threat and the
Yeah. So the men's triple threat on night one,
yeah,
the
yeah.
women's
yeah,
triple threat on night two.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sounds. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Um, like all the other stuff, like was going from absolutely fine and passable stuff. Like there was nothing on the show that was awful,
Yeah.
and like even the sort of shorter stuff I thought was fine and did the job that
Mm.
it needed to do. But
Mm.
there was so much of it where it just didn't live up to my expectations at all.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
You're nodding along. I'm assuming you feel the same, Cal.
Yeah, I absolutely do agree with that. I feel that we're going to obviously get to both main events. You could have actually switched the two main events around and had the men's triple threat close night two with the finish that you had there. It would have at least had a little bit more of a shock value and shock appeal. I think the issue was with what we saw to close night one. We thought, or at least I thought, that would hold some bearing to what was going to happen at the end of night two.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, I get you. Um, I do know what you say. Right, so a little history lesson here. So the whole idea of SLTD wrestling um came from me and my brother, right? Like 15 years ago. And it was me and my brother doing our thing, and that's what it was. We were writing and we were doing a podcast and well everything else. Sorry, my dog's going nuts. Come on. We were writing, we were doing everything, and then everybody came on board and blah 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 and all that stuff, and everyone knows how it worked. But like 11 years in, no, 11 years ago, um, my brother was like, he had his second kid and was like, can't do this, it's too much. Which I was like, you're a bitch. And now I've got a second kid. I'm like, this is too much. But anyway, um, so he was like, this is too much, can't do it, blah, 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 all that stuff. So he just bailed wrestling completely. Like he didn't watch it or anything like that. Fast forward, is my nephew is now 11 and is like bang into it. Like wants to watch it, stays up and watches it, blah, blah, blah. So I seen him yesterday because obviously with the being Easter. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we watched the night one," and I was like, "What did you think?" type thing, and he was like, "It's not good, is it? Like, it's not what it was, is it? You know what I mean? It's just a bit, I don't know, like, it's a bit mid, innit?" And I'll say to you what I said to him. Where he's like, I've watched Raw and SmackDown stuff, like a few Raws and SmackDowns, because obviously Max wants to get like into it and stuff. And it's like, is it that the qu- so the quality of what's going on is always at a level that
Mm.
it's hard to get above that level to the point where WrestleMania feels mega, mega, mega special anymore. Does that make sense? So you've
Yeah,
got a quality of like matches and the shows and the wrestling and all that stuff on a weekly basis of it. But I mean, he was like, no, because I watched the women's title match and that was fucking awful. So I was like, fair play. Like them talking to each other and everything, like it was fucking terrible. But I was like, but I think that's the thing. Is it harder to get to WrestleMania being this super massive spectacle because of the way it works on a weekly basis now? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't know because I think at that point you're a bit like, well, the weeklies can't be that good because everything else has to be then better.
Yeah,
And there were moments of this where I felt like I think some people had naturally fallen into the sort of the hubris of it all.
mm,
Like the main event of night one, the entrances alone were like WrestleMania level entrances, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um,
mm,
but then there were other things where it was like, really, why was that kind of match on this card? You know, like the biggest thing for me this whole weekend has been that they announced a TLC match for next week's SmackDown,
yeah,
and it wasn't Mania. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
if that's the plan and that's where you're going, why have you not just put it on the Mania card?
yeah, yeah. That was a weird.
Yeah,
Even the crowd booed the life out of it as well.
yeah,
Like it was, and it wasn't even. This is the thing that we said on like the predictions and stuff. Is that the build for the Raw or not the Raw, the World Tag Team titles wasn't even that strong. Really,
no,
it wasn't a strong enough thing to be like this. Absolutely has to be on WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean? Like, arguably, there was some matches where you were like, "This is a good match for WrestleMania. Like this works, and it's like the build up to that match, but it wasn't like a pure heated thing. It wasn't like a pure like a blood feud between
no. And I think had they announced New Day and War Raiders for tomorrow night's Raw or tonight's Raw, even I'm
yeah.
massively confused with my days now. Um, I think it would make sense, and it
Mm,
would be almost like a nice sort of throwback to when the revival debuted on Raw. That my assumption is Fraxium are coming up
yeah.
because they dropped the NXT tag titles at Stand and Deliver.
Hmm.
So, you know, you could have New Day defeat the War Raiders and then immediately get confronted by Fraxium straight afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's a natural sort of like Raw after WrestleMania moment and all that kind of stuff. But then you're not going to do that at WrestleMania. But then you've scuppered, like you say, the build on SmackDown of all these tag teams
Mhm.
for this one instead. Because is it that I don't know, you're deeming that this match is more worthy of a WrestleMania spot than like a TLC match or ladder matches?
Do you think because it's New Day? That's why.
I,
Well, I get the idea, yeah, that they probably wanted
yeah.
to put New Day on the card, but you know,
I feel it's really strange, and yeah, we've sort of talking about the second match on the card before talking about the first match. When we did our predictions last Tuesday, I was like, well, could be Big E get involved in this match? And really, a Big E involvement would be the only reason or logical reason I could see why this match would be on a WrestleMania. Because you're not going to just chuck Big E on a random episode of Raw, costing the New Day. So the fact that he was nowhere to be seen during this match was very strange. And like you said, Adam, they've had 4 or 5 months of a really solid build on the SmackDown side when DIY turned heel by attacking Street Profits, assumingly. I think it was DIY that was revealed to attack them, and then defeat the Machine Guns for the SmackDown titles. Yeah, you had that whole thing of Nick Aldis doing a behind the scenes or backstage segment of saying, this is what we've got. We've got machine guns, we've got DIY, we've got Pretty Deadly, we've got Street Profits, and we've got the Gazas. And that's who wants who at the moment. That was
Mm,
4 or 5 months ago. And since then, we've been seeing them actually have a rivalry.
mm,
And it was a rivalry that felt like it was leading to something big. And I don't see why you can't have like a big stipulation match on a SmackDown at all. I'm all for making a TV episode feel big with a big match like that, but why do it 5 days before? Sorry, 5 days after a WrestleMania. It's like saying, "Oh well, you're good enough to have this TLC match, but you're not good enough to have it at the biggest show of shows." And I think when you've got two nights where you've got a 3 hour countdown show on both nights, in the past they would have pre-show matches on these shows.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should put a TLC match on a pre-show, and you definitely shouldn't. But there was one or two matches that you could have put from the main card on a pre-show and made sure that there was room for your tag teams like TLC match or your Chelsea Green match. Like even like the Andre Battle Royal used to be on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a really good pre-show match to get the fans who are there in attendance involved. I love the fact that Chad Gable was in the Andre Battle Royal there. Yeah, the fact that you had someone who couldn't make the WrestleMania card. Yeah, rightfully so. Chad Gable should be in the Battle Royal on the Friday night.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I think everything you're saying makes sense, and I think that's the annoying thing that you like for the last few years, the multi-man ladder match has been the thing that everyone's like every year someone says it, we say it, other podcasts say it, you hear it on social media and stuff like that. They're like, who's going to be in the multi-man ladder match? And genuinely, I thought it was going to be a fatal four ladder match for the Intercontinental title. But the last few years there hasn't been one. Like there wasn't this year, there wasn't last year. Like it's just kind of
There
been.
was last year.
There was last year for the tag belts.
Tag titles.
Oh shit, yeah, there was. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my point. Anyway,
There
so
wasn't a 39.
There
it was.
wasn't a 39.
There you go. There you go. I knew it didn't happen all the time. There you go. But yeah, it's like it's not like a. I don't know. It's kind of like an afterthought, and it's just a little bit sad. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah.
like all them four teams, all could quite easily like have had an absolute belter match. Just on a ladder match, doesn't have to be a TLC match. Why it's a TLC match, I have no idea. Like it doesn't. It could just be a ladder match. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand why
Yeah.
you're having a TLC match. Like weird, but maybe because they haven't had one in a while. I'm not sure, but yeah, like to announce it at like just before WrestleMania, and then it's like, yeah, you're gonna have a TLC match, and everyone was like, yeah, it's like SmackDown. Oh no, that's not good. It's just like, come on, man. Like, it's just a bit sad to be
I
honest.
mean, because that was the first thing that I noticed when I clicked play on night two this morning,
Yeah,
that it was like 20 minutes shorter than night one.
yeah,
And I straight away I thought, you could have squoze that match in,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. Right.
Anyway,
Well, we've kind of gone a little bit ass backwards as we always do in these things, but also before we move on from the tag titles, that weigh on WrestleMania, can we just have a moment's silence for Ciampa's beard, please? Just
Yeah.
just for a minute. Sad. Sad times.
he looks weird, doesn't
Yeah. Yeah, he does, yeah. Yeah.
he? Yeah.
He looks like an old thumb. Yeah. It's
I
weird.
wonder how much he's going to look on Friday, because surely he's just going to like grow it out between now and then. But I wonder
Well,
how
I don't
quickly
know
his
because
beard
he's
grows
like
back.
even when he's shaped like I've had stuff wrong with my neck when I've had a massive.
Yeah,
So if you go back and watch videos, my beard was humongous, right? Um, and I had stuff with my neck, so I was like, well, I'm gonna have to shave my beard. But I only shaved it down to like just shorter than this. Do you know what I mean? He's like wet shaved his face and his
yeah,
head. Like he's like there's like nothing there. So unless he's like screw it, I'm not going one of them again. I don't know.
he will.
I don't know. Like he's just gonna keep it like short or whatever and just have a beard. I don't know.
Mm.
But
Or if he's got to wait for his cut to heal.
oh yeah, meant to cut to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a moment silence for that glorious beard that was. Right, yeah. So we'll start with night one. Start with match one. If you're not first, If you're not on last, you want to be on first. Remember that, guys. This is the main event right here. We've got Jey Uso versus Gunther for the world title. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna say Adam because you look a little bit somber about this. Like you look a bit like, all right,
I am a bit somber about it.
yeah. I think you're
Like,
right about them having to build the storyline around the fact that he can't do the big one. Know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It seems
Like,
weird.
because again, another Gunther loss at WrestleMania.
Yeah. He
Um,
hasn't lost since last year's WrestleMania. Like, ridiculous.
yeah, yeah,
Like, he hasn't lost the
yeah.
match, hasn't been pinned, hasn't even been put down on the mat in like a year. And then it's like, oh, WrestleMania rolls round.
As
All
soon
right.
as WrestleMania rolls, he's like, oh, that's it, you know. Um, I mean, I will say it when we get to it. Like Tiffany Stratton being one of the actually no, Tiffany and Io being the only two people that retain belts
Mm,
was a big thing.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, I predicted that Jay was going to win. I put that down on my SLTD predictions in the league and stuff like that. And I feel like it was a sort of surefire thing. I
Yeah.
did wonder at one point whether or not Jay had got injured quite
Mm.
early on in the match because there were points where he was holding his wrist. And I just thought, like, as he just yeeted too much, as it just got to him, like it's that's like a Sami Zayn situation
Yeah.
because he pulled his sleeve off as well.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, I kept sort of like keeping an eye out for that. Another thing, by the way, which as somebody who is, looking down the barrel of ADHD assessments and things like that, don't tell me that there are patches on people's attires that are going to get pulled off and put on trading cards because all I'm doing is trying to find out where the patches are.
I only seen one.
Oh, all the way through the night, I had to clock where the patch was, and if I didn't, I kept looking for it.
I only seen Damien Priest.
No, no, I managed to clock most of them.
Did
Like, I
you?
don't know where AJ's was because I didn't see that.
Yeah, I
You
only
know,
seen Priest.
Cena's was on his tea towel.
Oh yeah, I did see that actually. Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
so I feel like that's a sort of like that's a cop out a little bit. So Gunther's was on his boot. Jay's was on his pants.
yeah. Do you know what this is?
Um,
That I'm not a guy who like necessarily collects things or whatever it is. But I seen that and thought, I might get some tops me, like hmm. Imagine
See,
getting like a
right?
one of one of something. That'd be so
But
cool,
no,
wouldn't
but this is the thing. Like, imagine getting a one of one something. What difference does that make? That you're the one person who's got it. Who cares?
But
Like,
when you sell it, it'll
no,
cost
but right. So
somebody will want it.
there was a video of Mick Foley opening a Topps pack of trading cards, right?
Yeah.
So it was like this box, and he opened it and he pulled two packets out. And apparently this is $1,000 pack. Who's paying $1,000 for a pack of trading cards? I have no
Mm.
idea, right? So he's opened it and he's going through them, and it's like, oh, Hulk Hogan, that's a 23 of 50. Like, what? Like,
Well,
who's asked?
I have comics that are like I have rare comics and
Right.
the so comics that I've bought for a certain amount of money are now worth a certain amount of money.
But it's insane that like this is the world that we live in. Like when Logan Paul threw a prime bottle to that guy during his entrance, and he
Yeah,
said that guy's rich now, and it's like, yeah, because he's gonna put that as like Logan Paul's prime bottle from WrestleMania entrance, and people are gonna bid like thousands of dollars on it. It's
yeah.
stupid. It's totally stupid.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, right? And I honestly, I do, right? But the absolute irony of the room you're sitting in, talking about people collecting stupid shit, is unreal. Like,
Right.
turn around, you're gonna be like, "Oh God, what's all that stuff?"
Fair play, fair play. I've got a lot of stuff, right? But
Yeah.
none of these are ridiculously priced things.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Like even the belts, I only got the belts because they were 30 quid.
Okay,
Like it's not a one of one that's
all
been
I'm saying
signed by
is, if
someone,
this is
you
what
know.
people like and what they want to do,
Actually, right, I tell you what. let's do it now then, right? This is a one of one Adam Farrand Funko Pop.
No one else
Uh,
is buying that.
yeah, let's take bids, shall
I
we?
mean, I don't know, because I put
10
stuff on
grand.
TikTok and people were like, "Hey, is that fan of the film?" You don't know yet. You don't even know. So,
Who
you know
wants
what I
it?
mean? Just
Best
saying.
offer.
Just saying. Like, and obviously we know about the immortal moment statue head thing. And I like, so we got a message the other day, and Adam was like, "Oh, of course you can buy a replica for like 1,300 quid. Who's getting that? Blah blah blah." And I was like, "But if they did an Eddie one, like you get it." And he was like, "Oh yeah, defo." So, you know what I mean?
In about a few weeks' time, when people watch like our backlash review, behind Adam will just be like
Yeah,
half a face of Eddie
that's it.
Guerrero.
I'm not really like a big collector of things, but obviously, like as I say, I've got quite a lot of comics, and a lot of them, not a lot of them, but a few of them are worth drastically more than I paid for them. And I bought them with the knowledge of they're going to be worth more
Yeah.
in a situation. So I can understand the idea of like collectors and that. The one of one thing is pretty big. I didn't know the trading card like packs were different prices. I didn't know that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because I think it's certain. I think the idea of what would be inside them. So like those like Hulk Hogan 50
Yeah.
whatever, you could only get them in those type of packs.
Then what's the point of that?
No, that's what I mean. That's where I'm a bit. I think it's just a thing that I'm just not on board with or I don't
I
understand.
don't like that, right? Because I like back in the day, we talked about this. Like me and my mate used to get Pokemon cards, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We were a little
Yeah.
bit too old to do it, but whatever. So we used to get Pokemon cards, right? It was all good. And then the idea of collecting Pokemon cards was that although they were rare cards, you could go to like my shop where I bought
Mm.
them, spend a quid. I don't know how much they were. Like say they were a quid, whatever, to buy, open them, and you could get a shiny Charizard inside.
mm,
Like, there's no way I'm going to Smith's. Like, I'm buying a pack of cards for 2 quid or whatever they are, and then getting a Hulk Hogan in there. So what's the point? Only the
yeah.
elite are going to have the elite. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
But that's the
Yeah,
point, is that you're looking for them cards that are super rare and they can be in any pack.
yeah.
So you
Well, the
just
same thing happened with the Funkos, in that like the idea that you could get a chase on a Funko Pop.
yeah,
But the thing with that is, I think it's if you had to like buy it from somewhere or like somewhere specific for you to get what they refer to as a chase. Well,
yeah.
like it'd be slightly different. But again, like I don't understand where the value's coming from those things.
So no.
Anyway, Jay
Well,
and
Jay
Gunther,
Uso versus
right?
Gunther.
Sorry. Do you know
Anyway,
Funko's right? Do you know what's interesting?
yeah,
Do you know you can't get a first edition Master Chief from Halo
right.
anymore, and to buy it is like 240 quid.
Well, it's the Rey Mysterio, the first run Rey Mysterio Funko Pop that they did
Yeah,
is now like 450 quid.
yeah, you can't, because they just,
Yeah.
I think they make a certain amount, but then
Mm.
they make a certain amount on the popularity of it. So if
Yeah.
you get it,
This is like why I started getting them, and in the thinking that one day they'll be worth something. They're never going to be. Like what? I mean, I've got the full line of the Hamilton ones in there. They don't sell them anymore. So maybe when Lin-Manuel Miranda dies,
maybe. So what you need,
maybe
you need
you
a
know,
tops, a signed tops card, and then whoever it is, them to buy, and then it'll be worth
yeah,
something.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Like,
But yeah, Jay versus Gunther. I thought I would have preferred Gunther to retain, but I feel like I always knew that Jay was winning.
yeah,
The thing that gets me the most is I don't agree with him tapping out.
no,
Like,
I fully agree.
but no, but not to a point of, oh my god, I can't believe Gunther tapped out because he's tapped out before. He's tapped out to Ilya Dragunov before. That's fine. No issues with that at all. It was obviously the speed at which he tapped was daft,
Yeah,
right? There was no sort of drama in there at all. But tapping out to Jey Uso, who's never put a sleeper hold on anyone before,
Mm.
like it's
all
not
right.
like he's a submission specialist and all of
Yeah,
a sudden it's just a different hold that he's in. Like if Kurt Angle had doing a sleeper hold and tapped someone out through a sleeper hold, you'd be like, all right, okay, I get it because he's a submission specialist. This is Jey Uso.
Yeah.
You can't hit a spear properly. But for some reason, like people are tapping out to a sleeper hold. I thought I could not believe that he tapped him out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I feel like I never really got into the match. Like I thought it
Mm.
was fine, but yeah,
Yeah, it was a bit bumpy, wasn't it? Like, I think,
yeah,
I think it was a bit like, what's the word? I think it was a bit. Jey Uso was a little bit overwhelmed, I think, and
Mm.
I think he was rushing. That's what, like, I know he's American, but I think he was. I think he was rushing too much, and I don't think he was giving himself enough time. So it was
Mm.
like boom, 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 like, and it just didn't. The pacing wasn't right, and it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't feel like the best. It wasn't their best match. Do you know what I mean?
no.
No.
And that annoyed me because I wanted it to be their best match. But
Yeah.
And I feel like his reign is probably only going to be like a SummerSlam job.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
short. I think shorter than that.
You think?
I
Tonight,
mean, I could easily see him losing the title. I mean, we're recording this on Monday night. I'm not going to say he's going to lose it on Raw or anything, but I could see him losing it by Money in the Bank, which is what, first week of June. I
Yeah,
feel whenever they have a pay-per-view or a PLE like WrestleMania, on the following episode of Raw or SmackDown, they're like, this is what happened. I honestly think for this match, they will show Jay's entrance and Jay celebrating. They won't show anything else that actually happened in the ring. Um, about this time last year, when we did our WrestleMania 40 review, I was like, God, Sami Zayn versus Gunter was a fantastic match. One of the best matches I've ever seen at WrestleMania.
that.
Sami Zayn winning, fantastic, brilliant, deserved, needed. Gunter can move along to something else. 12 months later, Gunter should have beaten Jey Uso. I
Yeah,
feel
well,
I feel the same way that Adam felt 12 months ago, where I can understand it from a moment. I can understand the moment of Jey Uso winning and
mm,
getting that thing of people now watching online saying, "Wow, how great it is that this guy! Look at the reaction that he's getting. This is one of the best moments to happen in recent history in WrestleMania." But then I also think of the competitors that we could have had Gunter face at this WrestleMania, just from the in-ring perspective. I think we could have had Gunter versus Seth, Gunter versus Punk, and whilst it may not have created this social media moment, it would have still been a better in-ring match for Gunter to lose.
mm.
Um, so yeah, it's really odd because you look at all of the yeeting that you got at the start of the show and the celebrations when he won. I just feel that I would have preferred it not be for a title.
I feel like in this situation, as much as I'm not like nice and chubbies for good to like you do, both of you because you both love them.
You've got to support Europeans.
I mean, it's Thea's favorite wrestler anyway, so I've got to like I do like him. But I feel like this was one of them situations where Gunther just happened to be the champ.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't anything really to do with Gunther. It was more to do with that like main event Jey Uso. Like he's riding this wave, and we're gonna make him the champ.
Hmm.
And I think he would have become the champ, whoever the champ was. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I think it didn't really like there wasn't enough there to have this match mean a lot. Like I know they tried, and I know the whole with Jimmy that was like a lot. Like that was
Hmm.
a big step forward in the storyline. But I think no matter who the champ was, Jay was always winning. It just
Hmm.
happened to be Gunther. The only thing I'm like a bit like what happens now is they don't do automatic rematches, which is fine. So it could be somebody else who faces Jay in a Backlash. I would assume it's Gunther, but would they take it off Jay in the next week and a half?
Mm.
Because
I
it's
reckon
like,
Gunther's probably going to move over to SmackDown in the draft.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
I think that seems more of a thing that's going to happen because I think
Yeah.
at this point now with Gunther, you either have him chasing for the world title. I can't imagine him going back down to the Intercontinental title.
No.
So
No.
then you move him over to SmackDown. Stick him in a feud with a sort of upper mid card heel, maybe someone like a Damian Priest if you run that back, or like an LA Knight or something like that. Can't
Mm.
imagine they'd give him the US title. But
No,
then it's
I don't
when
know.
Cena's not got the WWE.
Mm.
See, that's the thing. It's like, so arguably, we'll go, like, not to skip right to the end, but we're going back to a situation where SmackDown hasn't got a world title because he's not going to be there every week. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could easily see Jay going over to SmackDown in the draft. So Jay is the champion on SmackDown because with Raw being on Netflix, it already feels like a big show anyway. To the point where, do you really need Cena being on Raw would feel like a big deal because of the Netflix situation anyway.
yeah,
And you don't necessarily need Cena on a show if you've got Rollins, Punk,
yeah,
and a couple of others on it.
mm, yeah. I don't know. Who, two questions. Obviously, your rating. And who do you think is beating Jay for the title?
I gave it 3.5.
Okay, that's high.
Rate it feels a bit high to be honest. I reckon Rollins is probably your guy to beat Jay.
Okay. Callum?
I gave it 3 out of 5. And I agree with Adam. It will be the visionary, the revolutionary, Seth frickin' Rollins. Hopefully very soon.
Okay. All right. I give it 2.5 because you're mad. That's
I
why.
feel like I need to drop some of mine.
Do you want me?
Just
I need
just
to
gonna start editing.
up my.
Don't mind me.
What's next? Tag titles in it.
Tag titles, War Raiders, New Day.
Oh, I mean, we've already touched on this a lot. Um, but anything else to say about this match?
Um, Again, this is the thing of who's next
Hmm.
Yeah.
because as soon as New Day won, I was then in my head going, "Oh, well, who are you gonna face now?"
Yeah, there isn't a
And
lot of
like
tag teams on Raw, is there
the only
really?
other tag team I could think of was LWO.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's it.
Oh, and I suppose New Catch Republic because Tyler Bates just come back. But
But
other
unless
than that,
it's just gonna be a Fraxium situation.
Hmm.
this is where you bring Fraxium up, yeah.
You could have American made, but then them being heels doesn't really.
No, so it doesn't. I don't know. It's one of them where, but I don't know. It's a hard one. Like I'm not saying I wanted War Raiders to keep the titles, but it just feels like the Raw side of the tag teams is just treading water, and the
Hmm.
SmackDown side is like booming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like SmackDown side of the tag team is so much more interesting
Hmm.
and totally deserved a WrestleMania spot and didn't get it, and it's
Yeah.
a little bit annoying. What rating did you give this?
2.5.
Have you just changed that?
Yeah, it was a 3.
Callum, what did you give it?
I'm not going to change, man. I gave it 3 out of 5.
Okay,
It was better. It was a better in ring match than Jay versus Gunther
I give
without
it.
any story.
Yeah, I mean the giant Gonzalez inspired gear was bizarre.
That was bizarre.
Why that was a thing. And then War Raiders coming out literally looking like they were in Clash of Clans was also weird. Like
The like cheapest looking,
mad.
not even 3D printed stuff.
Yeah, it looked I mean, I get the idea. The idea was to look like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like it made sense, but it's just like what? Anyway.
Well, that's the
Um,
weird thing with all the sponsors as well. Like, there was a point during night two where Michael Cole would go, and this match is sponsored by, and then you'd get nothing because Netflix went, not having any of that.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you'd get this match sponsored by Drumstick, and then you just get
Yeah.
these fans like with their arms in the air.
Mad.
drumstick, and then it's like fatal four way, four sweaty men, surely, dude wipes.
Dude wipes.
Well, apparently people were saying that that drumstick ruined the main event because there was a
Right.
title at World, at WWE
Yeah.
World, and it had the world title thing, and it had a drumstick side,
Yeah.
and um, uh, Cena last time is now side,
God's sake.
and people were like, drumstick just ruined that, like, because obviously them plates have been made. That the idea was
Hmm.
the last time is now plates have been made. So
Yeah.
why are you making them? But then obviously no one had seen. Well, I don't know if anyone had seen, but there was an advert, weren't they, within
Yeah.
it. So it maybe just be that. But people were like, "Have they just spoiled that? Like, why have them side plates been made?" What's next?
Jade Cargill versus Naomi.
Okay. Uh, okay. I like this match.
Yeah,
It was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I like this match. I like Naomi's new like I'm angry and I'm a heel. I didn't think she'd really do it. I love the fact that she's completely changed the gear. She's got all this caution stuff on it. Like that little entrance as well was cool. She's cutting promos with razor blades in her hair, and she's like, and she's got all black makeup, but her shoes still light up when she walks. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think she had them as staying on as yellow, and then there was a point where a foot hit the mat, I think, and
Yeah.
it changed. One of them changed to purple.
All right.
So
Okay.
straight away, I was like, "Oh, like we need to think about this."
Yeah.
Like,
I was like,
yeah,
that's quite funny. But yeah, I did like it. Jade looked better than she's looked in a while. Do you know what I mean? Not
Mm.
like looked better. I mean like in the ring.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jade looked fit. I don't mean that. I mean like
yeah.
uh, she looked like she was less nervous.
Hmm.
Whether it's
Yeah.
with Naomi, I don't know. And maybe they've hashed this match out like a lot. Um, but yeah, I think it was really good. Um, yeah, there's not really much more to say.
I mean, my best spot in this, the electric chair into the power bomb. Like,
Yes,
never seen that before.
yes, that
And
was cool.
like obviously, timing is everything on that. And like you can't. I was gonna say like it'd be nicer if like Naomi was up in the air for a little bit longer before Jade caught her, but it's like
Yeah,
how am I working against gravity on that one? Like
yeah,
you gotta do your best, don't you?
yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fine.
Yeah.
I would like this to continue. I think.
Well, we all predicted Naomi to win, thinking that that's because it would move on to something else, and the only
Mm.
way to do that usually would be through the heel winning. But I suppose the other way of getting around it is, Jade could be cutting a promo where she's gloating about the fact that she's won, and then she gets attacked by Naomi again.
Yeah, all she's got to do is be like, come out on SmackDown and be like, I'm done with that shit. Like, I don't
Yeah,
need it
and
in the ring.
Naomi's like,
Yeah, it's all done, and then
I
she's
ain't
like,
letting you be done with me.
I'm not done.
Mm.
Yeah,
No. I'm gonna kill you. That's what I'm gonna do.
yeah,
Should have pushed you sooner. Should have pushed you harder. I'm gonna
yeah.
kill you. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, big fan. I was like pleasantly surprised at this match. What rating did you give it?
3.
I gave it three.
I
Callum,
gave I gave 3.5.
fair play.
It was better than the first two matches.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that, which is just bananas when you think about what you're actually watching, but.
Mm.
Yeah. And still me favorite fact that I did on the predictions is that this is the first only women's non-title match to happen at WrestleMania since Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle had a pillow fight. Let that sink in, guys. Let that sink in.
I was going to say, let's see
Hey.
how far we've actually come though in those 2 decades.
Well,
Oh yeah,
planning another evolution, aren't they? So
yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, do you reckon that'll be the? I'm assuming it won't be the October PLE because that one, the Perth thing,
Mm.
where
Yeah.
it was like, Cena's going to be on that PLE, so it won't be an
Yeah.
evolution.
I feel they've announced that. I don't think they've announced, but I could swear I've read something where it was going to be like July, maybe
Right. Okay.
Revolution, but I don't know whether that's right or not. I just think I may have seen it somewhere.
Wouldn't they do it where? Couldn't they do it where they like they have like seven matches or whatever, and like 5 of them are women's matches.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or to just dilute the whole
I
situation.
mean, the good thing for that Perth show is that it'll be like watching I'm a Celeb over here. It'll be like, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning, won't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they
Yeah,
did Chamber last year in Perth,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was like an 8, 9 a.m. start for us. It's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. I kind of hate that, I'll be honest with you.
Well,
Oh
SmackDown's going to be
God,
early Friday morning. Raw's going to be
yeah,
early Monday morning for us.
yeah.
So
Ends up being
yes,
work.
Hate
that's
it.
good.
Should watch it on the way
Good,
into work.
good news. Watch it on the
Yeah,
tram. Hopefully
yeah.
there's a
Watch it on the tram.
derailment.
Yeah.
I end up watching it and I've got too many things running around. Too many things. Too many kids. Too many dogs. Too many wives. And I'm just like,
Too many wives.
yeah.
That sounds like Sheamus's theme tune.
And I mean,
Too many wives.
all these things are happening, and I'm just like, wish it was 1 o'clock in the morning when everyone was in bed, to be honest with you. You know. You know.
Yeah.
Next up. Next up.
The US title match between defending champion LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu.
Okay.
Good match.
It was a
Mhm.
good match.
Really good match. I thought up there with probably LA versus AJ from last year in terms of in-ring quality. The sort of the avalanche back suplex that LA Knight hit was fantastic, as was like the BFT out of nowhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
those two sort of spots, caught my eye the most. Right result, I feel with Jacob winning. I was concerned that Solo was going to get involved somehow, just because I think that would have been the only way that Fatu would have lost was if Solo cost him somehow.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
like he accidentally cost them. And
yeah, well, sort of,
Solo.
and then Jacob turned on him afterwards. Yeah, would have felt quite a cool moment, but I mean, what a fantastic rookie year for Jacob. Yeah, I think of when he came in, there was that report of like, oh, we're bringing him in, but we don't want him to be as popular as Solo.
Mm.
Like within the space of 2 matches, he was immediately more over than Solo Sikoa. And I mean, I feel bad for Solo. Like this was his third WrestleMania since being on the main roster, and he hasn't had a match yet. Like he wasn't even in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on Friday. Yeah, Chad Gable was in that, and Solo Sikoa couldn't be in the Battle Royal. Um, but no, I feel that Jacob should have like a really dominant run as US champion.
Mm.
And there's no reason why in 12 months' time Jacob Fatu cannot be in the main event of one of the 2 nights of WrestleMania.
100%. Do you know what? I think they should do with Fatu, they should do like not an open challenge per se, but like he just defends it all the time because he's
Mm,
just like all gas, no brakes, isn't he? So
mm,
I think it should be a thing where he's just like, I'm putting the title up, like who we're facing, whoever I happen to be facing, I'm always defending the title, and just go on this big tear of just like every single match. He's like, let's go. Um, but yeah, I think as soon as he kind of breaks away from Solo, that's when he'll be like a megastar, I think. But yeah, I can see him keeping it for a long time because who's beating him? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like who's stingy? So, but yeah, and I think LA Knight, it's got to be a shoe in for the Money in the Bank, Annie, surely.
I thought that. Yeah.
yeah.
Like surely that's the goal in it that he's got to be up. But then at the same time, are you going to do LA Knight versus Cena together?
Mhm.
Gives him a big rub on the way out, doesn't it?
Yeah. I feel really bad for LA Knight because 18 months ago he was one of the most popular acts on the roster, and he still is. Like he's still got that popularity. But I feel bad that for like the last 9 months he was on SmackDown because I think if he was on Raw with Gunter as the world champion, I'd have been more than happy to see a Gunter versus LA Knight feud. When I think of the matches I mean, Gunter versus Damien was okay,
Hmm.
but I do think that Gunter's world title feuds severely lacked that intensity and story. And I think Gunter versus LA Knight, like at a Survivor Series, could have been a really solid match. And like, I'm not going to get into like the side of nepotism or anything with Jey Uso, but I feel if it was like if he was LA Fatu, he probably would have been world champion by now, just because of how over he's been in like the last
LA
two
fat.
years. Like I honestly like feel like he has been on like that wrong show. Like to have been on SmackDown when Roman was the champ for ages, and then when Cody being the champ since last year's WrestleMania, there's no way that LA Knight was going to ever beat a face Cody Rhodes. Whereas there's no reason why LA Knight couldn't have defeated Damian Priest like in the summer of last year or Gunter in the past few months. So just to have a feud against him, it would have really raised his stock. Instead, like he's been a transitional champion, rightfully so in this scenario, but then like dropping the title to Shinsuke and then winning it back, and it was a really sort of muddled 5 6 months for him. Instead, he could have easily been in the main event scene on the other show.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, he probably could have been, to be fair. I think it's one of them where it's a weird one because I feel like the world heavyweight title is far more accessible than the WWE title.
Mm,
Well, that sounds dead strange, but it feels like only certain people at the minute can be WWE champion,
Mm,
whereas anyone can be world heavyweight champion. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
that's yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. What did you just give it? I drew all over myself.
3.5.
yeah,
Me too.
3.5.
3.5. Smashed it.
And I actually wrote down new champs all around so far, praying for Tiffy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Next.
Thank the Lord.
Next up is the match between what was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, but it turned out to be Rey Fenix versus El Grande Americano. But before that, I don't know whether we want to quickly discuss the news that was announced Saturday evening. On June the 7th, there will be a Worlds Collide show between NXT and AAA. That was announced, I think, during Stand and Deliver. And then a few hours later, it broke that WWE have actually acquired the Mexican promotion. So I don't know whether you want to give your brief thoughts on that before we talk about the match.
I
Uh,
mean, Ty's gonna have more to say on this, I think. But for me, like, two sides of it. One being that apparently the reports already come out that WWE are considering rebranding it to NXT Mexico, which I don't I don't know if this is the thing. I don't know if that is what they're actually going to do. But then a lot of people are pulling a quote that Mil Mascaras was quoted as saying years ago, where he said the minute that America get involved in Lucha Libre is dead. And it's like, but don't it doesn't have to be that way. Like there's still like
Mhm.
CMLL who are working with AEW,
mhm.
like this isn't the be all end all. And I don't know, I almost like have faith in that they're not gonna they've not bought it to sort of take over and usurp it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Mhm.
Um I mean that day in Los Angeles in June where you get Worlds Collide and then as Michael Cole said, walk down the road to the Inuit Dome and you can go and watch Money in the Bank. Like that's a pretty decent day.
Mhm.
But I'm
Better than
intrigued.
SmackDown and the Hall of Fame, innit? So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Nothing wrong with
intrigued to
that.
see what happens with it because I feel like Mexico has always been this place where every report that comes out has been they're trying to find the next big star from Mexico, and then it's they're trying to find the next Rey Mysterio, and then every person in a lucha mask coming through was they want to find that next big Mexican star, and then
Mm.
even like ones without it, like what they tried with Del Rio, it was
Yeah.
they want that next big Mexican star, and it was just a constant like they want to tap that market, they want to tap that market, and now they've bought the market, so
Yeah, I think first of all, I think they've got the next big stars with Penta and Phoenix.
yeah.
Mhm.
Although saying that they are probably on the wrong side of being the next big star, but um, yeah, it's one of them. They're probably aged out a bit. With regards to the AAA thing, the idea of them buying it to make it NXT Mexico is a bit of an old school way of looking at it, I think. I don't think the idea now, I don't know anyway, but I don't think the idea now is to have NXT Europe, NXT Mexico, NXT this, especially with them create and evolve. Like that
Mm,
seems a bit stupid to then have all these different NXTs. Maybe if they did like evolve Mexico, because I don't think Triple H looks at NXT like a developmental anymore,
no.
realistically. It
No.
being on a main channel, it's on the CW now, isn't
Hmm.
it? And not just being on the network. It's a far cry from when he ran it and it started out. Do you know what I mean? So there's that. I would hope the the plans with AAA is to keep AAA the way it is, keep the people in AAA in AAA, not change too much and use it as like a feeder to have more international stars and all that stuff. I think it'd be a shock if they're like, we're buying it and we're getting rid of that AAA thing. Um,
Mm.
that being said, the idea that they've acquired the contract of Alberto Del Rio makes like scared. I'm really scared. Like I really am. I don't need to see Del Rio on me telly. Um, so I genuinely I don't know. I don't know what that's the thing. It's like it's such a random thing because I don't know when the last time WWE acquired anything or anyone was WCW and ECW, weren't it? Like they
Mm.
haven't like acquired. Well, I suppose Evolve because they've owned Evolve for a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously, a world of difference with Evolve and the way it worked and all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't. This is a whole new regime who look at acquiring a promotion completely
Mm.
to how Vince did. So arguably, they're not just going to incorporate AAA into being an NXT because surely it's like 100 years old. Why would you want to lose them
Hmm.
letters that mean something? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is interesting to see what's happening. But I think my dog's eating something. Talk about Phoenix and Grande for a second. I'll
Will
Yeah,
do.
well,
I mean, I think to sort of sum it all up, I'm really hoping it's going to be like when the Germans bought Mr. Bird's power plant, and in the AAA offices right now, we've got a tannoy saying, "Attention workers, we've completed our evaluation of the plant. The following people have been laid off: El Patron Alberto. That is all."
no.
Um, but I mean, obviously, in the crowd for this El Grande Americano versus Ray Fenix match, we saw Vikingo, who proceeded to kick El Grande in the head before the match even started. Vikingo is a wrestler that Adam and Ty have been a fan of for a very long time. So, I mean, ridiculous to see him at a WrestleMania. Not something that we would have predicted. I thought the match was fine. Um, yeah, I imagine it was probably something that was put together very quickly because of the injury sustained to Mysterio. So they would put together a good enough match. El Grande's sort of reverse senton
that.
slash 450 was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, to sort of pull the curtain back a little bit here, Chad Gable is an absolutely phenomenal wrestler, and I know that
Why are
the
you talking
character
about
that
Chad
I was
Gable?
gonna say, what's that got to do with anything? That's
I
weird.
mean, we might be fooled. We might be tricked. I mean, I hope we are. I hope the mask comes off and it isn't Chad Gable. But if it were to
What?
be Chad Gable,
Who's
if it
Dippy Egg?
were if it were Chad Gable, then he's put on a mask and he is a supremely talented performer.
Yes. This is the thing. So yeah, I don't know if obviously he was Rey Mysterio was legitimately injured because why would you change who it is? I love the fact that Phoenix got a little moment as well. Like that must have been nice that he's only been in the company a little bit, and he got his moment. I feel like Dragon Lee is probably sitting in catering like this guy.
Yeah, we barely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even that we'll come to that. That was that.
Mm. I mean,
Um,
it's a good job I didn't go to this Mania because my OCD would be pissed at the program because that program would have a picture of Rey Mysterio in it and a picture of Bailey in it.
And probably Kevin Owens as well.
Probably
Probably
Kevin
Kevin
Owens.
Owens. Yeah. Oh my God. Um, so yeah, I think yeah, it's half of me's like should have been Dragon Lee because that makes more sense. But whatever, you know what I
I
mean?
mean, it's just the fact that Penta been built up since the Raw Netflix debut.
Yeah.
This is his first Mania. His brother has been there 2 weeks and he sneaks in the night before.
Like
Who did
doesn't
it for the
matter.
pitch?
It's all good. So
Well,
yeah,
the one thing that I did write down for this is God bless the production staff who managed to add in footage of Phoenix to that reel before the thingy and
yeah,
a new
yeah, yeah,
voiceover to
yeah.
then match it, probably with very little notice.
Uh, it's it's I mean, yeah, it's one of them where it was like as because of who it is he was facing. I don't think it mattered who was facing Grande Americano because he's just boss, is he? Like he just
Mm.
pure professional, pure knows what he's doing. So I think the match would have been good anyway. I am shocked that, as we were talking about it on the predictions, that he didn't get unmasked.
Yeah,
But I think that may have been a case of, well, why would Phoenix unmask him? Because he isn't really
so
a
it has to be a Ray thing.
yeah. So it
Or
has
a Dom thing.
or yeah. So that was me thing where it's like maybe they've been like we'll hold off on this, even though that was maybe it just wasn't the case. Maybe it was always the idea of it's gonna be we're gonna unmask him and then it's just turned into a thing and it's like actually no we're not gonna. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
um but yeah I don't mind if it continues. I'll be honest with you. Like he'll be a face soon anyway. Like if he carries on, he'll be a face because
yeah,
everyone loves him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what did you give the match,
3.5.
Yeah,
Callum?
I gave it 3 out of 5.
Okay, okay. I gave it three. I gave it three too. Um, next.
Well,
The
Sean came out to announce the
oh yeah,
attendance,
Oh
and the
yeah,
thing that
on
got
a
me
big
was
thing of writing.
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, I wonder what a number he's about to announce."
yeah. Even the commentary being like, well, yeah, he was up at five doing this. He was like he was at the
Yeah,
God knows what time. Do you know the Hall of Fame?
yeah.
Triple H talked for an hour and 8 minutes.
And you saw the pictures of people falling asleep because this is what I
Yeah,
thought about with NXT especially. Because
Mm.
the
yeah,
NXT guys had a call time of 5 a.m. for stand and deliver. They had to be at the arena at 5. So
yeah,
that includes Sean, who
yeah,
was then at Mania. It
yeah.
includes Booker T, who was doing commentary. And Booker T's delirious as it is, never mind on barely any sleep. The noises he was making about
Hilarious.
Stephanie McCord doing that move, like Christ almighty.
Yeah, yeah, it's just a long one, isn't it? You just can't like I thought I was bad,
No.
like having no
Yeah.
sleep, but um
There were kids in the crowd as well. Like Nick Khan had his kids with him,
yeah, yeah, they must
Yeah, Tony.
have fun. Yeah.
even to the point where they're like, "Come on, Dad."
Dick and Tony. Can't kid Tony. That's funny. Yeah, so yeah, good times though. Good to see Sean come out to do his thing. Everyone losing the shit over Sean and Triple H kissing as well. Weird,
Yeah,
weird that. I mean, I'll be honest, right? I'm just gonna throw it out there that if you've been mates with somebody, if two fellas have been mates for longer than like 20 years and you've grew up together and you've gone through all stupid shit and you've got kids and you've got wives and at no point in them 20 odd years, 30 years, whatever it is, you haven't threw the lips on each other. you're not even mates. I'll be honest with you. Like,
But I better ring Mackie then. Like, like I've never kissed him. Like I've held his
really,
hand, but I've never
I've kissed
kissed him.
Adam so much, like
No.
all the time. I kiss his wife and everything. Are you messing? Like,
Excuse, does he know?
yeah,
It's
man, like,
almost the 20th anniversary of the first time you two started to talk. So,
yeah.
I mean, I look forward
Oh,
to
there you go.
2028.
I'm
Better
just,
watch out at progress. He's going to
it's
be
all
trying to
good,
kiss me.
man. Just a little. It was one of them where, like, I don't think like Sean was expecting it either, because he was just like, "Oh, thanks," and then he was thinking, and he was hugging him, and he was talking, and then he like his lips on him, and he was just like, like, but yeah, it was just like he got a little pop for himself. Um, but yeah, man, like people are like, "This is weird." Oh my God, what are they doing that for? I was just like, "That's the coolest thing ever."
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like when Billy Gunn and Road Dogg
Duck.
they had they had a conversation. So they were tweeting, and then I tweeted because somebody said something. I think Road Dogg called Billy gay or something like that, and everyone was like outraged. And I said the same thing. I was like, if you've been mates with someone 20 years and you've never called that person gay, like you're not you're not mates. Do you know what I mean? And then they had a
Yeah.
whole conversation with me in the conversation, but not in the conversation, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's just one of them where it's like that's what dudes do, innit? Do you know what I mean? That's what I do anyway. You know what I mean? There was a whole like I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but there was a whole like bunch of years where at New Year's Eve at 12 o'clock, me and my best mate would kiss each other, like because you kiss someone. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll be honest, like I talk about Al quite a lot. I've kissed Al before today. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe I just kissed too many boys. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe you do. Actually, you know what? Don't matter, does it? It's up to you.
No,
Well, anyway, people lose.
Anyway.
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention it because everyone was like, "Oh, what the
like
hell?"
you're like Chandler at New Year. Someone kiss me. Someone kiss
Yeah,
me.
yeah, that's it. It was like in front of
Greg
him.
will do
Like,
it.
oh my God, they're so divorced. Like, mad. So, people are picking up as well that they don't always wear the wedding rings to the plates and stuff. Like, it's like
Oh.
this big thing. Like,
Oh.
everyone thinks that they're not together. Like, every
I
time they
mean, I think they are.
well, me too. But
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, he's pure divorce. Oh, no. You know what I mean?
We
Anyway,
need to speed this one along. Like an hour and 18 minutes so far, apparently, we've been on this call. I've got
oh,
a chicken to put in the oven at 3 o'clock. Like, come
Oh
on.
dear. Right. So the next match was for the one of the women's world titles between Tiffany Stratton and Royal Rumble winner Charlotte Flair. I mean, I feel this was the match that I wasn't necessarily interested in the most, but I was most interested in the result because I feel that if it'd gone the way of Charlotte winning the title, I don't think we'd be doing a reactions podcast because Ada would have burst a,
I won't be
a
here.
blood vessel.
burst into flames. Just like, set himself on fire and ran through a wall. Ah! I hate this so much.
Oh, God.
I will say that this match was bloody awful. I'll be honest, but like you could hear them talking
I
to
didn't
each
think
other.
it was that bad.
Right, you could hear them talking to each other. I think that was because they didn't have any time together backstage because there's genuine animosity between the two. So I feel like there was like some of the liaison between the two. I feel like that was a thing. So you heard them talking to each other. In the defense of this match and the fact that I have called Charlotte unprofessional numerous times with this build. I was expecting a lot of sandbagging. I'll be honest with you. I was expecting Charlotte to just be like, "Nope, I'm not moving." Like doing like trying to do power moves on her, and she's just like dead ass and Tiffy and that, which wasn't the case. So well done for that. I thought the choice of gear of Charlotte was very Tiffany-esque, like
Mm.
Yeah.
colors and the way it just looked like if them two stood next to each other and you knew nothing about them and you say, "Hey, who do you think they are?" You'd be like, "Oh, they're a tag team."
Tag team.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, they're facing each other and they hate
Yeah.
each other. What? So that was a bit weird, but 2.5 because I could hear them talking and I hate that.
I gave it a 3. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
gave it a
God to
3 out of 5. I, the finish was a bit odd. Yeah, not the prettiest moonsault ever, but the actual sort of rolling fireman's carry, whatever move it
Yeah.
is, it didn't look like it almost looked like both of them were tired,
Yeah.
and the rotation didn't come all the way over, so it made the actual landing of Charlotte look very, very awkward.
I feel like Charlotte just looks like she's always going to burst into tears. It's weird. Like every time she does anything, she's
She is
like,
Ric Flair's daughter.
I don't know if she can she?
maybe not. No, maybe
Oh
not.
dear.
It's Botox that comes dripping out.
Smile. Where what Callum? That's next?
Well, considering I've written so much about this match, you can probably guess what it is. The main event of night one: CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman in CM Punk's corner.
Okay. Um,
Ooh.
I wrote down the best run of entrances for a match I think I've ever seen.
yes, that way to go.
Like Seth's entrance was good enough anyway.
Mm.
Then Roman's entrance, well, let's face it, Roman didn't do much, but the presentation of it, bringing the screens down with the bloodline and all that kind of stuff, great. And then Punk's entrance with Living Colour, but then even the video beforehand where it had this fire burns, like it felt huge.
Yeah.
It all felt massive.
Well, I was talking about this to Max, my nephew, and he was like, I was like, yeah, it's good in that. Like, it was a dead good match in that, but like all the stuff before it, where they were talking about stuff from like years ago, like I didn't really know.
Understand it.
Yeah, and I was like, that's the difference though, is that all the Shield stuff that they're talking about, I lived through.
Yeah.
Like all the Punk in ECW, I lived through. So like when you've been a fan that long, it all like all that stuff just adds to the like the big fight feel. And I more so than any other match, this felt like a big deal, even though essentially on paper it wasn't for anything. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Rach made a good point when she was watching it because she texted me and was like, "Hey, Seth in white never loses." I was like, "Interesting." So every time he
Mm.
wears white, he doesn't lose. Like he never
Mm.
white.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, it was. I was already excited, but I think this may be my favorite triple threat match. I think my favorite triple threat match was at like Unforgiven 2002 or something with The Rock, Angle, and Undertaker. But I think this
Vengeance.
Vengeance. There you go. I think this peaked it. I
Yeah.
think, and I think the moving part at the end, and I was worried watching it that Paul Heyman would be a massive part of the actual match. I'm happy that he wasn't. I didn't mind that he was a huge part of the finish. I just wanted them to have enough time to kind of do what they wanted to do. And I will say this, even after saying that I kiss a lot of boys, but Roman Reigns is an absolute specimen of a man. Like, I don't care how heterosexual you are. These, like, when he came out, I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Well, the Cultaholic guys made a really good point that can you believe that for however long he kept all of his chiseledness under a vest?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
Come
yeah.
on, you
Like,
know,
why are you doing that?
why are you doing that?
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that needs to wear a t-shirt when he goes swimming, not you. Like, come on, sort it out.
You think
Yeah,
of what Roman looked like 10 years ago at WrestleMania 30 and 31, wearing the vest, and the teeth being so different as well. Yeah, obviously he's obviously
Free
been to
turkey
Turkey
tea.
for a few weeks.
his
um,
little chickpea teeth and his porno goatee. Nah.
but I mean, he looks like a star. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that not just from a wrestling perspective. He looks like a Hollywood star.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
like,
those just to say the table breaks,
Mm,
the power bombs through the Jesus Christ!
yeah,
mm,
Like as soon as Punk hit his, I thought, oh, well, he's going to be feeling that for
yeah,
at least a week.
yeah, yeah. I
Like,
think Carlitos was bad on night two with
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like
yeah,
I don't feel like them tables were meant to break. Like and Rob Baker was just like, I'm gonna smash this to bits. And I think Reigns did the same because he was like obviously gonna do the Shield powerbomb and then was like, actually no, I'm doing it on my own. But I
mm,
think especially with Punk, he was like, I'm gonna absolutely have to like
mm,
smash it into this to make sure you go through.
Brace, 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 brace,
yeah.
Yeah.
Two,
brace.
like
So
two of the oldest wrestlers on the show, Punk and Carlito, were the two that got put through the tables.
it was just like they weren't meant to. It wasn't old
Yeah.
school. It was like, oh, it was mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Um, you guys were right. Um, with the mention of Seth. So I need to say, because I know he's listening and I already have mentioned him, but my mate Al, about 2 weeks ago when Raw was happening, he texted me and was like, Heyman's walking out with um, with Rollins. And I was like, can't see it, And then you mentioned it and I was like, can't see it. And I was wrong, like completely wrong. I'll be honest. And yeah, so I will say, he also predicted that Joe Henry would be out as well.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. He was like, get trips on the phone. I need a job. I was
He
just
couldn't decide to tell all of us, and we couldn't have put money on it.
no,
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
have all put like 200 quid on it and gone to next year's WrestleMania.
terrible, terrible. Um, yeah, the match, fantastic.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Mm.
At the end, by the end of it, and I was a bit tired and a bit, I was a lot tired and a bit like, oh, and like when I get tired, I get emotional. And I was watching it and I was like, that might be a 5-star match now.
Have you ever given a 5-star match in the ratings that we've been doing?
No.
Because I'm just going to put this out there now. I've got a rating on night two, which I think might be the lowest rating I've ever given.
Fair play. I've no four. I would like to do 4.75, but you won't let me. So
Well, I think just off the top of my head, I gave the Priest cash in and the Rollins and Drew match 5 stars. I gave Cody and Roman 5 stars, and the Bloodline Civil War 5 stars,
yeah,
and Young Guns and Boisterous Behavior 5 stars.
I
you.
think I gave Gunter, Sammy, Cody Roman, and Punk McIntyre at Bad Blood all 5 stars.
I've only ever seen one 5-star match, which is Undertaker Shawn,
Okay.
Okay.
because it
I
was
mean,
potentially the most
I
perfect.
mean, I feel like we know that you're going to say 4.5 for this one then.
I don't know. I feel like I could give it a 5 stars.
I've given it 5.
Okay.
yeah.
Have you give a 5, Colin?
I mean, I would give it more than 5 if we were working with more stars than 5. It was the best WrestleMania match I've ever seen.
You
It
can
was
go.
that good. But I think because of the emotion behind it for me as a fan, like you had Rollins and Reigns, the whole history of them. Like Seth was going back to 2015-16 Seth Rollins,
Yeah,
flipping out and landing on his feet, countering the spear into a pedigree. Yeah, I was like, this is like Money in the Bank 2016 all over again. And instead of it being Dean Ambrose breaking up something, it was CM Punk. And I remember when we had that moment at Royal Rumble of Rollins stomping Reigns and Punk being involved, and I was thinking, does it really need to be a triple threat? Would it not be better if it was either Punk Rollins or Punk Reigns or Reigns Rollins at WrestleMania? And I'm so glad they went with the triple threat because it was.
I was shocked that it was a triple threat, but then when it happened, I was like, "Oh, this makes perfect sense."
I mean, it was based on everything else that we saw on night one, which I wasn't a huge fan of. It was the old thing that I said last month when I went to watch the show in Nottingham when Punk and Cody walked out or made their entrances. I turned and said to my mum, "That is why they're the main eventers." that ovation that they got, that is why they are the big two stars on this show. You then saw these three of Reigns, Rollins, and Punk make their entrances. And for someone who was watching wrestling for the first time, you could turn around and say to them, that's why they are the headliners. Like no one else on night one could have main evented that show except CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And the way that the whole match played out, Reigns sort of diving over the barricade to take Rollins and Punk out.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be so much of this match that I probably have already forgotten whilst talking about it, and yet it's the only match from night one that I will gladly go back and rewatch time and time again. Um, so yeah, if we could do more than 5 stars, I would. I mean, like the whole Punk entrance of Living Color and Punk
Ah,
doing like the clobbering time and looking at his watch and Heyman putting the arm across. It was just perfect.
how many would you like to give it?
7.
I mean, if it was in the
Come on,
Tokyo,
Ty.
maybe. You know what I
Come
mean?
on, Ty. Come on. Come on. You know you want to.
I don't think I can.
I've got another 5-star match, by the way, on night 2.
So do I.
I'll give it five, all right.
Hey.
Hey, we broke the seal.
But
Woohoo.
it's own.
It's a 4.99.
Yeah, yeah. It's a really high. I'll give it 5 stars. It was like I can guarantee before the end of this week I will watch it again.
Oh,
Like
as soon as it finished, I was like, I'm happily gonna watch that again
yeah, yeah.
soon.
Like
Yeah.
before the end of the week I know I am.
And I was
Um,
so glad it was good.
I
Yeah.
know. So then quick before we move on, overall night one, what are you going with?
Like 3.5.
Yeah, everything's like a bit samey, and then the main event just blew out the water, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 3.5,
it?
even
Yeah.
with a 7.
Yeah, and I feel like 3.5 pretty decent. Right, night two. I know we're open with Rhea, Io, and Belair. This was a very good match, and
Fantastic.
the right
Yeah.
person definitely won.
100%.
I think.
Yeah.
I said to Rach about this, and she was like, "Oh yeah, who's winning? Like it's got to be Rhea or Belair." And I was like, "No, that's the rub. There you go. It's gonna be Io." And it was Io, and definitely the right person. Um, everyone's entrance was cool. It was all a fun time. The um, what's it called? Bianca Belair's dancers and having a stepdaughter. That was like a cool little touch. I quite like that. Yeah, and then the match was the match. I don't think it was as good as the main event of night one, if this is what we're going with. But you want to use can take the floor because you're both looking at me like, really?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't think it was as good as, but I also gave this 5 stars.
really?
Yeah.
This is the 5 star match?
Same.
All right, okay.
It was superb. Like so many fantastic spots and sequences, and like Callum mentioned this when we were talking about night one. We have come such a long way since Playboy pillow fights,
Yeah.
and I am just relishing in it. Like the fact that this match kicked off a mania,
Mm.
like, and there were spots in it where like it was just Bianca and Rhea, and I thought they're not even done at Mania. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna have a singles match further down the line as well.
Yeah.
But then to give Io her flowers, or Bianca could have done because she dropped that many from her. Like Io was this person who was just on the outside of it all and was just
Mm.
on the periphery of it all, and then they even made fun of that and poked fun of that in the storyline by having her be pie faced out the way.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
Io fully held her own, and now we're at a point where it's like if NXT was on a par with Raw and SmackDown, right? You could have them all be a champion on each of the shows, and they could be the
Yeah.
faces of the
Mm.
brands. And then at that point, you're moving aside people like a Charlotte Flair, a Becky Lynch, a Tiffany Stratton, a Bailey,
Mm.
like Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, buddy Stephanie McCord, Julia. There's so many, and it's just what a perfect time to be in it.
Yeah.
And this was a fantastic opener.
Colin? Want to add anything?
Not a lot, but like what you just said then, Adam, we've come such a long way since, the Candice Michelle's versus Tori Wilson matches. Even like the things where, what was it, WrestleMania 29, when it was supposed to be Rhodes Scholars and the Bellas versus Brodus Clay, Tenzai, and the Funkadactyls. Like, you think now, female wrestlers or, young young females who want to get into wrestling can watch wrestling and think, I can be the next Bianca Belair, I can be the next Rhea Ripley, I can be the next Io Sky. And that's nothing against people that have come before, you know, the Belairs, the Rheas, the Ios. But we're now looking at WrestleMania cards, looking forward to who is defending the women's title. Like, I think about last year's WrestleMania, you had what, Becky versus Rhea, which was a good match. Year before that, Charlotte versus Rhea, really good match. Like, the women's world title matches, as far as I was concerned, this match was better than both the men's world title matches and Charlotte versus Tiffy. We've now got to a point where the women's matches are better than the men's matches and are rightfully so. So opening a WrestleMania, and I'd been perfectly fine, despite how good Punk Rollins Reigns was. I would have been fine with Io versus Rhea versus Bianca main eventing. What we got was main event worthy, and it's almost like they took it as a chip on the shoulder of like, like you said, if you're not on last, go on first.
Mm.
They got that opportunity, and they just completely stole the show. Like the whole sort of EO counter, from the super riptide, countering it into an arm drag, the moonsault to actually win it. We said on the predictions like EO should win because the way that they have sort of booked the feud with her being the one who is the champion, but she is on the outside looking in. Like it was right that it was her that won and almost won it because Bianca and Rhea forgot that she was in the match. Like they thought, oh, Io's out of it at the moment. Let's carry on fighting one another. Bam, out of nowhere, moonsault, Io wins. Perfection, 5 stars.
Yeah, I think that's the argument where it's like these although these two nights there was potential to have three main events. Like you could interchange. So this is the argument that this women's match could have main evented, but then obviously you understand why the other triple threat main evented, and then obviously you understand why Cody and Cena main evented. But then the all three could be interchangeable,
Mm-hmm.
arguably, and this could have fitted in, and nobody would have been like, "What the hell?" And it's like you sort of it's set if you're on first, it sets the pace and it sets that idea of you go back and once the match is done, you go to backstage and you're like, right, okay, top that. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
next, top it. And I don't think anyone did, realistically. Like even the main event, the in-ring wasn't as good as that match. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not doing another 5 star.
We're
So
not getting another one out of
It
him.
took a lot out of you to give one match a 5 star.
yeah, I'll give it 4.5. I actually had it down as 4, but I'll give it 4.5
Yeah.
after talking about it. It was really good. Again, before the end of this week, I will probably watch this again. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, very, very cool. And I feel like as well, before we move on, Rhea Ripley has got this thing where when she walks to the ring, she's like in an element, and it just
Mm.
makes you like feel part of it and feel like it's not like you're not. It's mad. She's just like feeling herself so much, and she's like, there's just something about that like aura, I suppose,
Yeah.
that makes you like that you know this is going to be good. Like you
Yeah.
know she knows what she's doing. You know you're about to watch something amazing. And she does that every week, but at Mania, it just feels bigger and and I absolutely love that. That's like the coolest thing. Priest versus Drew. Uh this wasn't as good as I thought it'd be.
I think the same. Like I expected like all out chaos. It had some
Yeah,
really good
Mm.
spots, don't get me
yeah, he did,
wrong.
yeah.
Like some really good table spots. And then the Claymore in the corner with
I
the
was
church
expecting blood,
was
I'll be honest.
yeah. Like obviously, I mean, like Priest's winning with the fact that he got Kerry King to play him to the ring.
Yeah,
Like, that must have been so good for him
yeah, yeah,
for it to happen. But I think we all said Drew was going to win. Drew won. Yeah, I thought it was fine, but I thought again there'd be a bit more brutality to it.
yeah.
Um,
That weird rock thing that he came out with was odd when Drew.
because I looked at it and I thought, is that someone's head? And then I was like, oh yeah, that is a helmet.
Well, I
Why is
thought
it
it
a
was like a
helmet? I
game
thought,
thing.
well, it's Doomslayer, so it's a character from Doom. It's the guy that you play as during the
Right,
Doom game.
okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
but like to be of all the people to give that entrance to, Drew McIntyre isn't the person that I imagine is going to
No.
sit. And then because he looked really annoyed then that he had them like gauntlet things on his arm because he was trying
Yeah,
to rip them off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when he got down to the ring and
It
stuff.
was just weird. I didn't really understand it. I thought at first, because on his Titan song you could see the sword. I thought he had
Yeah,
the sword in it.
I did because I thought he was going to be like a King Arthur thing.
He was going to pull the
Mm.
Yeah,
sword out, and then he was going to walk down with the sword, because obviously it's
yeah,
like it's named after his sword. Like his sword is named after his mum. So I
yeah,
thought,
Mm.
oh, they bring the sword back. That makes sense. It's all good. But then he just stood
Mm.
on it and like roared, and I was just like, that's really odd. I don't know what I
yeah.
mean. But yeah, Callum, what did you think? Do you agree or disagree or?
Yeah, I think considering how good the opening match was, this had a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
Um, I loved the bit where Drew had Damien on the floor and he went over to his brother and got his phone and
Yeah.
sort of did a repeat of last year, took a photo and posted it on X.
Yeah.
Um, Enjoyed the finish, Damien going for the old school and then Drew just sort of like let go of you
Yeah.
and let go of him and he went straight through the tables. I mean that looked like some impressive bump.
Mm.
Second match on the card last year of WrestleMania Night 2 was Damien Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Second match on the card this year, Damien Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
There you go. Yeah. That's
What the
mad.
fact?
Yeah. What a fact.
What the fact?
What the fact? Yeah, I don't know, it just kind of like fell a little bit for me. Like I give it 3.5.
I
It
gave it 3.5.
it was
Yeah, I
good.
gave it
I
3.5.
enjoyed it. But I don't know, it's just a bit like I don't know, there just could have been more. Something wasn't quite like clicking. Feel like
Mm.
um it feels like one of them where it's like the anticipation for the match, you're like they're gonna absolutely batter each other because
Mm,
at every point they've been like all over each other, or at the kickoff they were attacking each other and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the match is a bit. Yeah, I
mm,
don't know. Maybe it was the stipulation was a bit. I don't know. I don't know.
mm.
Anyway,
I thought they'd fight in the crowd a little bit.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was. I was just expecting someone to bleed
Mm.
because color adds to the feud, doesn't it? The IC title match: Bron Breakker versus Penta versus Dirty Dom versus Finn Balor.
I feel
Um,
this needs to be your baby Ty, considering
oh,
your
nice.
baby won.
Oof. Ooh. Just the guy is just good, isn't he? Like he's just like, oh, he gets it, doesn't he? Just winning the IC title like his dad. Know what I mean? Um,
Which one?
his, coming down to the ring, and Eddie Guerrero used to do when he was like heel. He used to like lick his fingers and like tingy his eyebrows, and he licked his fingers and did the stash. I was just like, this guy, this bloody guy. Penn and Finn was genius. Like that's the feud that's gonna go forward definitely. I feel
Yeah.
like Braun maybe stepping up. I don't want to
Mm.
say like for definite, but I
Mm.
think him in a world title picture. I mean, Inverse J I wouldn't be mad at. I'll be honest with you. Like, um, but I don't know. Maybe it's a bit too soon. But yeah, Tom winning, and then winning, celebrating, everybody loving it, and then walking away and being halfway down the ramp and just thinking, fuck it, and just running back to the ring. That pop, man, that pop was so good. Like it was just, I just loved it. It was just boss. Like it was just a good time, and he absolutely 100% deserves it. But you just can shit on it now. It's fine.
No,
I
like to be
won't. I
fair,
won't.
we all said, didn't we? We all said Dom.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and I think it makes sense. It totally makes sense. I thought there'd going to be a bit more of a sort of official and explicit Judgment Day split.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a sort of bit where like Dom went for the 619 and then Finn started beating him down a little bit, and obviously the ending of the match. So I'm assuming we're going to see a little bit more of that on Raw. Um, but I think everybody played the part really well. Like Penta looked fantastic. Bron Breakker looked fantastic. Carlito again, poor guy's just out there to get a spear into next week.
You're just
Um,
beating him up, innit? Just
yeah.
chill. Cheers, man. Like, that's all
No.
he's doing. Like, all he's doing.
But yeah, no, I thought, like again, the pop for Dom was really great.
Yeah.
And everyone in the crowd was behind him, and it was the right thing to do.
Do you think they're going to turn Finn face or turn Dom face?
Dumb face.
I think they will. I said the same to Sam before because Sam said the same as well when he texted me. Like, I think it seems like Dom is the one that is going to
Yeah.
turn, but I don't quite know how that's going to work.
No, I don't either.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know how they're going to do that, and I don't know if that was the original plan. I don't know if it, but as well, you can't really go off a WrestleMania audience because the
this is the thing
WrestleMania
as well.
audience
Yeah,
is very
Mm.
much a regular audience. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, I gave this 4 stars.
I give it 4.
Okay,
I give it 4.5.
you're mad.
I think it's mad that Dominic Mysterio is a 20-year veteran in WWE. Like this is his 20th year in WWE. Like to think that the Custody of Dominic match was in 2005.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that's what they're going to do this year. They're going to have like Finn versus Carlito in a Custody of Dominic match at
yeah,
SummerSlam 2025.
yeah.
Um,
I
but I
don't.
mean, what an incredible progression for him. As like a to look at him in 2019 when he was being chucked around by Brock Lesnar to having a match against Rollins at SummerSlam 2020.
I've been saying since 2020 he's the man, and people aren't listening to me, man.
But I mean, he looks like a completely different human being. Because, like, you look at him in 2020 when he was what, probably 22, 23,
Yeah,
and like his build and physique has completely evolved since then. Like,
not really
in
his.
20,
I'll be honest.
like in 2020, he did not look like a professional wrestler. In 2025, he looks every bit of a professional wrestler that he could look.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's a testament to him that yet he's still got Mysterio in his surname. He will always be the son of one of the greatest luchadors in the world. But he has gone out on his own, like to the point where you don't really even need to mention that he is Rey Mysterio's son anymore. You don't really need to feel like, oh yeah, he's got here because of being his son. Like he is his own character and his own person, and he's absolutely thriving in the position that he's in.
yeah. I've said numerous times that I don't know what it is to become a to get over in professional wrestling, but there's something that you have to do or have to be or whatever it is. So whatever it happens to be, quote unquote, Dom's got it. Like 100%. And I've been saying it since he debuted. Like you could just see, even when he was 6, you know what I mean? Like when he was like with the Mysterios and he was winning
The
tag team.
timing of that kid shaking that
Yeah,
ladder.
yeah. I knew then he's gonna be a star. What's next? What?
um, Randy Orton versus question mark.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Why do I
I
feel
just
this is
wanted to.
Adam's lowest one?
No, it's not. It's
It's
not.
not. Okay,
Like
that's good.
the thing with this was obviously I didn't want Owens to get injured, but how they managed to spin this into an open challenge, almost celebrating Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania match,
Hmm.
was inspired. Like that whole like video package that went on beforehand, it made it feel such a big thing because it was Orton's 20th Mania match.
yeah,
And I'll be totally honest, I expected Rusev to walk out when those doors opened.
yeah.
I did not expect Joe Hendry.
No, I didn't expect Joe Henry.
And the absolute fever dream of Randy Orton facing the TNA World Champion at WrestleMania. Like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
Hmm.
mad.
Excuse me?
Came out, had the TNA logo and everything on his little thing.
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
he was the champ. He came out with the belt. Like I was
Yeah,
just
and then
like,
Pat McAfee was like, "So if Orton wins, is Orton the TNA World Champion?" And Michael Cole's like, "No, this match." He's like, "Well, it should be."
yeah, why not? Why
Why
not?
not?
Yeah,
Like, is he genuinely? And I feel like we need to have a look into this. Is he the first non WWE contracted wrestler to appear at WrestleMania? Like, obviously, like the celebrities not
yeah,
included in that,
possibly, yeah, yeah,
but he's the only. He might be the only guy signed to another company.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nicholas, maybe.
Sorry, my bad, my bad.
Yeah.
Was anyone like in like a battle royal signed to somewhere else?
No, like I don't not in
No.
here anyway. I don't think not signed to someone
Not
else.
like
Yeah,
Tatanka or Diamond Dallas Page.
Not signed. But these a lot of people are like the Vikingo thing. Like he's well, no, he's not signed to somewhere else. I wonder if that's what they've done. I wonder if they've bought AAA because they wanted Vikingo because he's like
you're not signing for us, so we're
Absolutely.
just gonna buy
Yeah,
your
like,
house.
mate, people are saying he's going to AEW when his contract's up and that, and it's like, nah, we'll just buy his contract. We'll buy. He's nah,
We'll
We'll
no.
buy
buy
the
him.
company.
We'll buy the company that he's under. Yeah, I don't like. Obviously, these people in other. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
No.
No.
Not like, and not like that. You could be signed to another company, but like not like around or not on TV. Not the world champ. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's mad. I love the TNA WWE NXT thing. Like it's
Yeah.
keeping me invested in both of them, so it's
Yeah,
working.
yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah,
tell you what, Stand and Deliver was a very good show, by the way.
I'm about to watch it when we finish this.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Henry coming out, I was very shocked. Apparently, I read this morning that Jeff Hardy's name was battered about, which would have
Callum
been
would have lost his tiny mind.
At 8 a.m. in the morning.
he would have Callum would
Just
have
see
set
J
himself on fire and ran through a wall for a completely different reason.
just see JH on the Titantron. Yes, it's Jeff. Jeff Hendry. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what other names were thrown about, but and I haven't really seen. I've only seen one person mention that his name was thrown out, which makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
pop would have been unreal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Joe Henry just for that moment and just to give TNA that rub is yeah, I'm here for it all day. Um, I didn't really rate this match because it wasn't really a
I
match.
mean, I gave it 3. I thought it did everything that it needed to do.
I'll go with
Yeah.
three. Then. I didn't really
Yeah.
rate.
And
So did I.
the
Gave it
the
3.
RKO literally out of the side of the screen.
Yeah. What was funny was he did his little like, ooh, and then as he turned round to do Joe Henry's like a little thing, he did his own pose. I was like,
Yeah.
proper good. It just looks like Randy Orton's like having the time of his life at the minute. Like,
Oh, he is. He's,
just
he's,
loving
he's
life.
been able to sort of just allow himself to relax into,
Yeah. I
you
think
know.
that, you know what though? I thought that about Penta as well. Like when I was watching Penta come to the ring, I
Yeah.
was like, I've watched him in TNA and I've watched him in AEW and I've watched him in AAA and I've watched him in Lucha Underground and he looks genuinely happy. Like he's
Hmm.
just this is boss. Like I'm just loving life. Like I can get to
Yeah.
do what I want to do and the on the biggest stage in the world and I'm seated like a star. It's like it's just nice to see people just loving life. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. What's next?
Um, AJ Styles versus Logan Paul.
Okay.
I mean, this is my underwhelming match of the weekend.
Is this yours, Adam?
Yep. Yep.
Is it?
Yep. And it pains me to say it because it's AJ, but I'm not on board with the whole Logan's practiced this match for the past 3 weeks because then it feels like it. It feels like we're just going from dirt to dirt to dirt to dirt
Yeah.
to dirt. And like, yeah, there's big stuff happening. Yeah, there's big moves happening, but none of them make me care about what it is that I'm watching.
He's a lack
And
of
I'm,
transition, you think?
yeah,
Because he's not got the transition down where it's
he's
like
not got the fundamentals down.
that's what it
Hmm.
is. Yeah. You need like the
Yeah,
lulls to make the like the big moves mean something.
yeah. And I just found myself not caring.
Yeah, I think the issue is the same as with this match. It's kind of the same as the Jey Uso and Gunther match. I don't think Paul give himself a minute, and I think
Yeah.
that I think he overthinks still. Like he doesn't
Mm.
go into the match. He doesn't listen to the crowd. He doesn't. He does listen to people in the ring, obviously, but he
Mm.
doesn't like. There's too much going on. What's next? What's this? What's that? What's this? Okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing that. Which I understand because obviously he's got to do like the guy is. He does big mad moves, but you need to get like the. You need to get some Logan Paulisms,
Mm.
like some little things that he does in between the big moves, like smaller moves, like just as you say, like fundamentals down, and then the big moves mean something.
Yeah,
Mm.
100%.
Just a spot monkey situation, like it's a boom, a boom, a boom, a boom, a boom, and it's just a bit.
Because we've gone from the fact of him using the buckshot lariat as a finisher to
Yeah,
now that he's figured out how to do this impulsive DDT,
yeah,
which, to be fair, is a nice looking move.
yeah,
When they hit the buckshot, I was like, oh, should I be bothered that AJ's just kicked out of that? Because part of me feels like I should be bothered, but
yeah,
I'm not because of how it's ended up in its position in the match.
yeah. It's
Mm.
like when Cena did that like springboard stunner thing.
Yeah,
And you're like, why is that just
Mm.
like what? Surely that's a finisher.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Callum. What are your thoughts?
Um, I think you got to say now that Logan Paul is no longer a rookie. Like this is his fourth just WrestleMania match. Like he's had matches against LA Knight and Roman Reigns and a few others outside of these WrestleMania showcases. And it's not like he's had matches against novices. Like he's been, it almost feels like he's been deliberately put in the ring against in-ring veterans to try and get him to a really good level.
Hmm.
And I just think it does sort of annoy me where you look at a lot of talent who can't get on the show, who would have had a phenomenal match and a phenomenal
TLC.
moment. TLC. But because of who Logan Paul is, it's sort of a given that he has to be on WrestleMania. And it does sort of irk me in a way to the point where I need him. I'm going to say I need him to be on TV more for it to be warranted for him to have a WrestleMania match. And what I mean by that is I feel that if he actually committed his whole career or the next few years to being an in-ring wrestler, the performances will go up because he'll be more used to it.
Hmm.
Like you look at Bron Breakker and Tiffany Stratton, they've obviously come from two completely different backgrounds than Logan Paul, but this was their first WrestleMania match, and both of them must have started wrestling at a very similar time to Logan Paul. Likewise with Dominic Mysterio, and yet all of them are leaps and bounds ahead of Logan Paul because they have dedicated their lifetime, their last few years to being a professional wrestler. Logan Paul hasn't done that, and I think that's what annoys me the most is you're seeing people who have dedicated their careers to doing this and they can't get on the show because they're not Logan Paul. And I think the other thing that also frustrates me, and I know what I'm watching and what I'm talking about, but AJ Styles has been doing this for almost 30 years. Are you telling me that AJ Styles can't defeat Logan Paul in a wrestling match? And like at least 2 years ago, Seth beat Logan. Like that was a huge relief for me. Like I'd have been straight through the wall if Logan Paul had defeated Seth
Burst
Rollins
into
at
flames.
WrestleMania. Yeah, I'd have been extinct by now if
Funny
that
that
had
this is a
happened.
thing now that we set ourselves on fire and run through the walls. Like,
But
Yeah.
but I mean, at least Seth beat
What's making
him.
you set on fire this week?
But the other thing that really annoys me as well, this feels like a huge rant that I didn't expect to go on. What does Logan Paul do tonight on Raw? What does Logan Paul do next week on Raw? Is Logan Paul even going to be on Raw to talk about his victory? Is Logan Paul even going to be on Backlash next month? Probably not.
Hmm.
AJ Styles could have beaten Logan Paul with or without Karen Cross's help. I mean, I'm not Karen Cross's biggest fan, but the best part of the match was Karrion Kross coming out trying to get AJ to use the brass knuckles to win the match. AJ Styles could be facing Jey Uso at Backlash or facing John Cena at Backlash. Now that he's lost to Logan Paul, to me, AJ Styles goes right at the back of the queue in terms of world title material. And I think that's a real shame because, AJ Styles is what, 47, 48 now? He's not going to have many WrestleManias left. And this was what his, the what, 32 Jericho, 33, WrestleMania 33 is AJ Styles' best WrestleMania match. And that was against Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
And he's had multiple matches since then and the one against Jericho before then. His best match is against Shane McMahon.
Mm. I think it's one of them where I think you can understand why Logan Paul is in the position he's in. Like, he brings a lot to the business, I suppose. And he's not, I don't hate him in the ring. He is decent, like he is. But I think it shows that he's all about the viral moment. I think that's the issue. He's like, that's his thing. He's like, okay, what can I do? And it's a shame when it's someone like AJ who's taking the brunt of that. But then at the same time, you've got to look at it like, how many more eyes have seen AJ now because he's in a match with Logan Paul? That's always the back and forth with it. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I do get it. I think it's just one of them where it's like they're never not going to push him to where they want to push him to. So it's either just a sour note or you just like, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, what I'm interested to know what you rated this, Adam.
2. Ooh, ooh.
Callum?
Yeah, 2 out of 5.
God, I give it 2.5. I'll be honest. Jesus. Next.
What was supposed to be Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus the women's tag team champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, but obviously Bailey was taken out on Saturday night.
Yeah. Um, any thoughts,
I
Adam?
mean,
Uh, Sorry, one sec. Yeah, I'm possibly about to get an early delivery
Okay.
because
okay.
it's peeing it down outside. Ruby's playing out, so Amy's got to go grab her. Yeah, I mean, when I was watching night one, it came up, I think, just before the main event where it had like these are the matches that are coming tomorrow,
Hmm.
and there was like a shadow where Bailey was, and that was me finding out that for some reason Bailey's now not Lyra's partner, and I was like, what's happened here?
Yeah.
So then I ended up reading up about it, and it was like, oh, apparently she got attacked, and and I thought, oh well, it's just going to end up being bleeding Becky Lynch, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And my biggest issue with this is, I understand that you're doing it for the moment, and I understand that you're doing it because it's like, oh, Becky Lynch's return, and blah 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 blah, and it's going to mean a big thing and all that kind of stuff. But why does that mean that Bailey has to get it taken out at the expense of it?
My thoughts exactly. Right. So
You know?
I love Becky. Like, I really do. Like, hey, 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 hey. Look at that. I love Becky. I do. Like, she's boss. I popped for her. It's all good. Like, love and life that she's back. But this is the second time that she's come back, and it's like whatever else is going on, screw that. Like, Becky's back. She's having a title. Becky's back. She's doing this. Um, so it's one of them where it's like people moan about Charlotte Flair getting all these things, but at the same time, they're turning Becky the same, and it's not good. Like, it's not a good thing. Like, it shouldn't have been Becky in that situation. They shouldn't have won them titles because what are they going to do with them? Like, they're not like they've made no reference to even knowing each other really. Like, there's never been a thing where they've tagged together or anything. It's just like, oh, they're both from this place, so let's put them together. That's what annoys me. And the fact that she's been out for nearly a year, come back one match and she's a champ. It's just like,
Mm.
it's lazy. So lazy. But it's Becky, innit? Like, same people say it's Charlotte, innit? Do you know what I mean? It's like, and they're getting to that point where it's like, it's the same thing with Becky, and it's starting to proper annoy me. Like, they should have waited until the end, until tomorrow and had to come out. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't need to be there. That was Bailey's moment. That's what annoyed me. Like, anyway, yeah, go on.
I feel like I'm probably out of the three of us the biggest Becky Lynch fan,
Yeah,
and yet I was quite disappointed because I'm also a Bailey fan.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think said it last year when Bailey beat Io at last year's WrestleMania. Bailey feels like the outsider out of all four of the Horsewomen. Like she's always the one that, yeah, probably have to, use my words very wisely here. Bailey's the one that gets shafted the most
yeah,
out of all four. Like Sasha has now gone to AEW, doing fine there. But even when she was in WWE, Sasha had multiple world title reigns and reigns with the tag title. Charlotte Flair is a 15-time or could have been a 15-time world champion, and
yeah,
Becky Lynch is Becky Lynch. Like she is one of the biggest female stars in all of wrestling. Meanwhile, Bailey has always felt like the one outside, and I think we used this reference earlier on, the one outside looking in,
mm,
where strange enough, she was the last one to get called up, and it still feels like that is that sort of mentality
yeah,
behind it all. She was called up almost a year after everyone else,
yeah,
and it's like she's a student that got born in July, and she starts school in September, and it's like
yeah.
she's almost like a year behind all of her other classmates,
She's like
and
a workhorse as well, though. Like, I
And
feel like,
like that's the thing. She's the one that, aside from when she was been injured, she's the one that has always been there and has always done things, you know. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that Becky and Seth have got a child together. And I would never, take that away from anyone who wants that. But like Bailey has always been there, and yet she's never really got her flowers. And it's all very well saying, well, she got her moment last year against Io, but still, like there's other moments that Bailey hasn't accomplished that everyone else has.
yeah,
And we said it on the prediction show on Tuesday. The way that the woman roster, and I know I've praised the matches on this card so far, but the way that the women's roster has been booked in the last few weeks has been very, very, very strange. Like you could have done Roxanne versus Bailey. Yeah, that yeah. Why have Roxanne finish second in the Royal Rumble and take part in the Elimination Chamber if you weren't going to have a match at WrestleMania? There's no reason why you couldn't have had Becky versus Lyra for the IC title. You could have had Liv and Raquel versus Alexa and Nikki. Like, there's so many different matches that you could have done that would have made so much more sense.
mm,
And for everyone saying, oh, this was the plan for weeks that Becky Lynch was going to come in and be Lyra's partner, just don't put Bailey in that position. Like, don't even announce a Bailey match. Make people say, oh, it's a shame that Bailey's not on the WrestleMania card this year.
yeah. It's
Don't
weird.
have her be taken out the night before.
Yeah, it's not good.
Still, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 because Becky Lynch is back. And, you know, when Becky Lynch is back, it does elevate that woman's division. It's
Um,
just unfortunate that the Bailey's been shafted again.
yeah. What did you give it, Adam?
I gave it 2.5.
I gave it three. What did you give it? 3.5. And
Yeah.
you gave it 2.5.
Yeah. I feel like that most of that is for Lyra.
Yeah,
Like I feel like it's a Mania debut, and obviously it's a big
yeah.
moment, and yada yada
Also,
yada. But
like, make the IC title mean absolutely shit all.
oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. It's the main event now, isn't it?
No, 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 no. You forgot the greatest moment in WrestleMania history.
Do you have a
Stone
driving
Cold,
license,
Stone
Steve?
Cold,
Oh,
crashing into
yeah.
the barricade and
Yeah, yeah.
wiping out that woman.
He
I mean,
looks
that is a
so on it.
WrestleMania moment for decades.
To
Who
be
cares
fair
about
though,
Edge
like
Spear
me
and
and
Jeff
Amy had a look
Hardy?
at this. Like she stood up, and as he hits the barricade, she's nowhere near it, and
Yeah.
It was
then
a
she falls
comical form.
backwards.
Goes back, yeah.
It's like she's seen, if there's blame, there's a claim.
She's getting some free shit in her life, tell you. She's getting some, like, she's
Yeah.
up backstage and all that. Although she looked that young. I said this to Rach. She looked that young that, like, he's done this. She's fell over and then he's gone, are you all right? And then she's been like, yeah, yeah. And as he's walked away, she's gone, who is that? Like, this old bald man who's just done. Like
They sound ball, man.
it's
Have you
like
seen the
it's like I've been a wrestling fan since 2021. Like, who is this man? What's going
Have you
on?
seen the video of him actually missing the ramp the first time round?
Yeah.
It's like Austin Powers when he tries to get out of that tight spot of like trying to reverse and
Like, he needs his reading glasses on, and he's like, I'm not putting them on. I'm not putting them on while I'm driving. Like, um, it's yeah. It's the main event, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. All right. Sounds. Um, I think we all knew the outcome of this one. Let's be honest.
Well,
Um,
we said it anyway, didn't we?
yeah. I'm gonna throw it out there, right? So I said at the beginning of this podcast, I was like, "There's something that took me right out of what the hell was going on." And it was in this match because
Mm.
I was in, like, I was all for it. They were doing the thing. Also, I popped for the STF getting called the STFU. I was all over it, right? Cody coming down in his custom skull Iron Man mask that they've just spray painted white and threw on some 3D printed stuff. You know what I mean? I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here for that shit. Like, it's all good. And then you get 10, 15 minutes into the match, and what happens? Travis Scott comes down for some reason. And I was just like, what the? I mean, I was like,
It made no sense to me at all. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I get it because of the chamber stuff,
yeah,
but
but
the point where he came out and it was the slowest running in
yeah.
WrestleMania history,
Mm.
like
And
it made
then,
Papa Shango stuff look better.
so, so that happened, right? So I was like, okay, so he's coming down. And then I was coming down, and I was like, what's he gonna do? Like, what's he here for? And then I was like, I wondered if he's gonna like throw a dig or something, like slap Cody, something like that. He's that scrawny, and there's nothing to him. That when he dabbed up Cena, as the kids say, he dabbed up Cena. Cena lifted him up like a child. Like, he was like, "Come on, get on the ring, come on, mate." Like, I was like, "What? What is this?" Like, they couldn't book the Rock, so they got his mate. Like, what's going on? I don't understand. Like, come out with him or something. Like, be ringside. Like, that would have made more sense. Like, come out with John Cena, and then it's like Travis Scott and John Cena. That's a thing. So they're coming down. And then he just could like manage them being there, or just sat in a chair with his little title on, smoking a blunt, doing his thing, smashing.
But
I
it's
don't
not like I
understand
needed
what
to
that
hear
was.
that fiend, fiend again. Like,
Yo, buddy.
God,
It was just, yeah, it took me right out of it, and I wasn't happy about it. I'll be honest with you.
no, I agree.
It it just pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, just
Yeah.
pissed me off. Ruined the
I
match
mean,
for me.
seeing this presentation with the whole like black and white text, and that was interesting.
Yeah,
Mm.
And then like Amy said, like, well, I don't take him seriously still wearing that kind of t-shirt. But
yeah,
I mean, it might be the first black t-shirt he's had in God knows how long.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I felt a little bit sad for him because this is his last Mania and he didn't get to do what he's done at every other Mania.
Mm.
Yeah,
And it was all black and he just came down and he had this thing. I was just a bit like, oh, that's a bit sad.
because there's like as earth shattering as the turn is, the heel, the scene, finally eventual scene, the heel turn.
Yeah.
Like part of me thought, I wish I was just getting a American Nightmare Cody Rhodes versus greatest of all time John Cena match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
not
My,
a heel.
yeah. So my issue, which has been my issue for the longest time since Elimination Chamber when he turned, and we talked about it, and I was like, he doesn't actually have to turn heel. All he has to do is be like, I'm doing what's best for business.
Mm.
Like, you're with me, you're with me. If you're not, you're not. I understand that sound. And then he didn't have to do this whole heel turn. My issue now is, how's he going to turn back with
Mm.
what he's saying and what he's doing to end his run as a face?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand how you can say I've been in an abusive relationship, like, it's done. I'm not doing anything for you. I'm going to leave as the champ. All these things that he's saying, that he's like, he's always hated the crowd. He's always hated the way he's treated. But then, arguably, at some point in the next 8 months, he's gonna turn face again. So how do you
Mm.
come back from that so quick? Like, that's me issue. I don't understand where he's gonna go or what he's gonna do to come out and say, oh, I was only joking. Or, oh, like,
Mm.
oh, it's all this, and come out in a bright blue t-shirt or a bright pink t-shirt or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But he's gone, he's gone too heel to then bring it back in the next 6 months. Like,
Yeah.
if he had like 2, 3 years of this heel run and then it changed, that would be different. But to do it as quick as he's trying to do it, it's just, it doesn't, it's not going to work. Like, it's just, I don't understand why they've done it
Yeah.
this way. And that's my main issue with him being a heel because you can't retire a heel. That's not what you want to do, is it?
Mm.
So,
There's also like a severe lack of heels outside of Cena for him to, turn back face on.
yeah,
You can't really say, oh, that person currently who's a face is going to turn heel. That's going to force Cena to turn face. The big problem for me is Dwayne Johnson. That sounds like I'm going to go shoot Frodo now. Hey, Dwayne, is The Rock. The stupid thing that he did at Bad Blood, which forced one of the best matches of 2024 to open the show, to the Netflix promo, which was very strange. Going over and giving Cody Rhodes a high five and said, "Hey, well done, bud." To Cody, I want your soul. To what happened at Elimination Chamber. If you're doing an angle of that magnitude, which includes the biggest heel turn since Hulk Hogan, you need to be committed to being at WrestleMania.
yeah.
You can't just do Elimination Chamber and it's like it's like Homer becoming the monorail driver, and you got Leonard Nimoy there saying, "My work here is done," and Barney Gumble said, "You didn't do anything." Well, what did you do? And you got Rock there as Leonard Nimoy, sort of disappearing into the darkness.
Didn't
Because
I?
didn't I? Because why, like you said, why turn Cena heel? Or if you wanted to turn Cena heel, you didn't need The Rock there in the first place if The Rock wasn't going to do anything at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think that is my biggest issue with this match. Like you had Travis Scott come out, which was very strange, but you still thought, okay, well, The Rock's going to come out next, or Travis Scott's going to introduce The Rock.
Mm.
And there was nothing. And I wasn't expecting it to be like WrestleMania 40 in terms of, almost like Avengers Assemble, outcomes Stone Cold to follow The Rock. But I still expected something because of everything that had happened in the past.
Mm.
Like I was watching this match, and not that I was watching wrestling in 2002, but I imagined it's what Rock versus Hogan felt like because you had two wrestlers there where the guy who was supposed to be the babyface in Cody Rhodes wasn't really being cheered because the fans wanted John Cena to create history. Like when you bought these tickets to watch WrestleMania back in October, knowing that John Cena was wrestling in his final Mania,
Yeah.
knowing that there was a significant chance that he would be not just in the main event but going for the 17th world title,
Mm.
you'd assume that he would have been the babyface going into that match.
Yeah.
And it was really strange. I was watching it this morning and I was like, I almost want them to call an audible. Like, I would not be against Cody doing something heelish here and then Cena firing back and doing like the five moves of doom and Cena winning, going like starting the match as this, heel all in black to then winning. And similar to like, Hogan at WrestleMania 18 having like the music playing at the end and everyone celebrating.
Mm.
Like that's how I actually felt because we didn't see a Rock and just the way that the fans were, reacting throughout the match. I was like, they actually need to turn Cena face because without The Rock being there, what's the point in him being a heel?
Mm.
And
I think it's one of them though
it's
where
just strange.
if you're, I think that's the argument because it's like Cena sold his soul to The
Hmm.
Rock, but then he didn't. Like that, people are saying, "Oh, he sold his soul to The Rock," but he shouldn't have really done that. He should have just turned heel if he wanted to turn heel.
Yeah.
That's adding a
Mm.
thing with The Rock being part of this, and then it makes you wonder where The Rock is. That's the issue.
Mm.
If he just would have turned heel, then it would be
Yeah,
like, oh shit, Cena's a heel. But
yeah.
now it's like, oh, he's aligned with The Rock. He absolutely hasn't. The Rock isn't
Mm.
there. So I don't know. Was it the right decision?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think we all said this on the predictions that like now they can say Cena's the most decorated. Like it's on BBC News' homepage. John Cena becomes the most decorated WWE champion in history.
Yeah.
You know,
I argued
um,
that he always was, to be fair, but whatever.
yeah. But like now that they can say it, now that they don't have to keep mentioning Ric Flair and blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah.
This is where we find out that somebody way back when is like, no, the AAA mega champion.
Yeah.
He's like a 26-time mega champion. And
Yeah.
because WWE now owns it.
Someone who was it?
Yeah.
Carlos Colon. Obviously, it's WWC,
Yeah.
but he was 28 time W. Yeah. So
Oh, Grande Americano's great great grandfather.
Wasn't he
yeah,
booking the show as well? Yeah.
was he?
Um,
That'll be me.
yeah. So um, I do think it's the right decision, and it's made me interested to see what happens on Raw tonight.
Yeah.
So much so, I might watch it live.
Give over.
Give it a minute. No,
That
really.
could be a tram job for me in the morning.
How long is the tram? TL?
It's about an hour.
Oh,
I can watch. Yeah.
I might watch it. I don't know. I'm not at work tomorrow. Just kidding. Ratings. I give it 3.5.
3.
3.
Yeah, 3.5.
It's okay. So night two, what would you give it?
Um,
I feel like it's lower, isn't it? It's got to be a 3, hasn't it?
I don't know.
Because then you've got a
I think
5.
I'm going the same. I'm going 3.5.
I think 3.5.
Well, then arguably, overall, the whole show has got to be a 3.5, like the two
Yeah.
nights.
Mm.
Yeah. Mad. Madness.
Mm.
That's mad. Okay, before we wrap this up, because we have talked a lot, and someone's got a chicken to put in the oven.
But the
Uh,
chicken's putting the oven.
did you not have a roast dinner yesterday?
No, we had it because my mates came around, so we had a takeaway.
Who do you think, if it is happening, which it might not, who do you think Cena is facing at Backlash?
We Cody again.
Gonna be Cody.
Hometown hero, St. Louis' own,
Oh, there we
Randy
go.
Orton.
I thought that. But yeah, I don't know where Cody's gonna be though. Don't know what he's gonna do. Like, I can't imagine Cody without the title. It's weird. Like,
Yeah. I mean, because I can't remember the last time somebody went from winning it at one Mania to then losing it at the next Mania.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Closest thing you've kind of got is Reigns, but then he didn't win
Yeah.
it. He didn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anything else you would like to add about WrestleMania 41 that you have not already added?
Don't think so. I mean, for what it was fine. But again, like part of me just kept thinking, if this was back to being one night, would it have been a better show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
if you
know?
pick out the best of,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you get rid of the
Which
shit.
obviously I feel like is a bit of an unfair way of looking at it. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we did that last year, didn't we? We sort of spoke
yeah,
about certain matches that if it was a one night mania would have stood no chance. And
yeah.
yeah, we've been talking for the last 2 hours about a TLC match going on the show. Um,
If we were going to do an Ultimate WrestleMania card again, like we did a few years ago, would the CM Punk Reigns Seth match or Rhea, Io, or Belair be on that card?
I'd put both of them on.
yes, because it's the best WrestleMania matches for all of those competitors.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to do like ever. Yeah,
Well, Callum said it is the best WrestleMania
I
match ever.
suppose yeah, he
So,
did, yeah. I'm going to add a fun fact that Al told me. That Gunther, unfortunately, lost his title on Hitler's birthday. You know what I mean? There you go. Bad time to be Germans there. No,
And
no.
his Intercontinental title reign was 666 days.
Oh dear.
That's no, that's it. It's just so happens that WrestleMania coincides with the worst possible days. So 666 days, that's when it's got to end. Hitler's birthday, that's when it's got to end.
I don't know
Soz
why he
bow.
told me that. He was just like, oh, bad time to be German, that. I was just like, what? What are you on about?
He's not even German.
No, he's not German. No, no, he's not. But that's what he was like. Oh,
Uh,
what is he? Oh, is he Austrian?
he's
Yeah,
Austrian, yeah.
Austrian.
Anything you'd like to add about anything else before we wrap this up?
Um, no, we're getting very close to our next biggie for us. Progress, super strong style.
Yes. We're
Mm.
gonna break down the whole card, aren't we? We're gonna do our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna. This is gonna be an interesting one. I don't want to give too much away because everything's still up in the air a little bit. So I
Mm.
don't want to be like, oh, we're doing this, oh, we're doing that, because we're still figuring out some things.
Things are hopefully in the pipeline.
Yes. And that's it. Yeah, we've talked for way too long. We will be back at some point with a progress review of Vegas, I would hope. Um, but we will see. Um, everything's a bit mad. No one slept or it's
No.
like in the way.
And
It's
I'm back in work tomorrow.
yeah, it's a heavy situation. Anyway, so stay safe, stay entertained, and watch the wrestling you want to watch. And we will catch you next time.